Cyverse. Hello friends, welcome back to another deck profile. This time we are going to be doing a profile of a proxy deck. It is Cyverse featuring link monsters, particularly the Cyverse link monsters. So that's what I would just call it. I don't really know what you want to call this deck. You could work with any other archetypes with links anyway, except for maybe Honeybot and stuff because it's Cyverse. So let's get started. This is a proxy profile, so these cards aren't out yet in TCG, but we are very excited about the new link summoning methods. So I printed them out and decided to proxy them and play them casually, so people would be learned in advance the link summoning mechanic. And this is a glass cannon build sort of, so it's very it just goes into the one play. No traps, it's just all spells and monsters. So let's start, and I do run 3 Bitrons. That's the vanilla Cyber monster. It's got 2k defense, which is nice, and it's an Earth monster as well, which is another bonus. So it accesses to Mrs. Radiant and Cyverse or Eddie Cyverse monsters. So 3 of that because I need to see this card in the grave or in the field most of the time to do some plays. And next Cyverse monster is there's still the Japanese text there from the magazine, is Cyverse Gadget. This is apparently a promo in the OCG, so it's a bit difficult to get a hold of it if it gets released there. This one is one of the better ones because it resurrects a Bitron from the graveyard, a level 2 monster. Usually this one, because it will usually be dumped to the graveyard. You can use it in any deck, I guess, because it just resurrects a level 2. It doesn't really care about what monster it is. It's just a Cyverse material for your for your link plays. And if it leaves the field, you make a token, a vanilla token. So that's quite nice. And you can use that for another link summon because it's another material. Keep in mind the normal summon effect to summon a monster from the grave is not once per turn, so you can keep on summoning it. And like as you saw in one of the combos I did, I summoned this guy twice because of the Seraphonite combos. But the second effect is only hard once per turn, so you can't keep on infinitely summoning tokens because you keep on summoning this guy from your hand. And the next Cyverse monster is Draconet. 3 of this one. When you summon this one, you summon a vanilla monster level 2 or level from your deck. So that's going to be this one because it's a Cyverse monster. This is also a Cyverse monster. Unfortunately, it is dark attribute, but it is a decent card because it summons from the deck rather than the graveyard. So if you don't have a Bitron in the graveyard, you can summon this one instead. And it's also not once per turn, so if you summon this twice on your turn, you get 2 Bitrons from your deck. So that's why I play 3 Bitrons, because sometimes I draw one of them, so I want to see 2 in the deck sometimes. So 3 of this one, because it's a Cyverse monster, and it grabs 1 from the deck. Draconet. And 1 Ram Clouder. The only reason I play 1 is it's a light monster, so with Brilliant Fusion you can dump it. And it's only got 1 effect, which is to sack off a Cyverse monster and resurrect another Cyverse monster from your graveyard. To use that effect, it's similar to Lumina, where you need to have a target in your graveyard, and then the best target to resurrect with that is Firewall Dragon, because it's also a Cyverse monster. Now if you resurrect back a link monster, even if it's in the extra deck monster zone, it has to go back to the main monster zone, because of the new rulings that's announced recently. Ram Clouder is hard once per turn, which could be a big drawback, but if it wasn't hard once per turn, it could be stupid loops with Firewall Dragon. The best target is of course Firewall Dragon, because if you use the bounce effect of Firewall Dragon, you can use it again if you bring it back to the field. This card's fantastic. It's a play at 1 because sometimes it's buried at the beginning of the game. The whole point of this deck is to start off with a Firewall Dragon. Most games, I guess. Next is the Rescue Kit. 1 Rabbit and 1 Ferret. They're both situational, and Ferret is useful for summoning Dandelion from the deck because I do run the plant engine, and Rabbit for the vanilla monsters like Bitron. You can summon 2 Bitrons, so you got 2 Earth monsters or 2 Cyverse monster. And this one can summon a total of level 6. You can do a 2 and a 4 or a 1 and a 5, which I don't do because I don't have any level 5. But I usually do 3 and a 3, which is probably going to be a Draconet and a Dandelion, or a Lone Fire Dandelion or something like that. So 1 of each. This card is of course at 1. You can up Ferret, I guess, but Ferret is kind of inconsistent if you don't have any link monster at the start with 2 links. I usually have 1 link, which is Link Spider, so it's not very useful when you don't have anything at the start. So I just run 1, I guess. There's also the card that searches it, which is the Emergency Rescue something, but you need to have lower life points than your opponent to use it, I think, if I can remember correctly. Staple 1 Max C, this card's at 1 now. This is just a test build, so if your bad list is different, you play 3, I guess, like in OCG. Triple Gofu. This is in OCG, is at 1, so if you're doing OCG, play that at 1, I guess. This is quite important because it starts off a lot of your combos. The only problem is you need to have no monster in the field, and you can't spec this from hand with Firewall Dragon, as I found out in one of the combos. Useful because it summons a vanilla token which can go into Link Spiders or Mrs. Radiant with the 2 tokens, but you have to waste 2 Link Spiders for that. So I usually just do 1 Link Spider and then use the Gofu as a material for Link summoning. But 3 Gofu, pretty strong card in this deck. With a Plant Engine, triple Lone Fire. Now the nice thing about Lone Fire Blossom is if you have 3 and 1 on the field, while between the deck, so you run 3 of course because of this build. If it's next to linked to the Firewall Dragon, even if it's on the left or the right zone, or at the bottom, like that. Every time you sack off Lone Fire with Blossom with its own effect, it will trigger Firewall Dragon to spec from hand. So effectively, if this is next to each other, you can just keep on summoning your whole hand, and later on maybe balance with Firewall Dragon, more Lone Fire Blossoms to keep on triggering the Firewall Dragons that are summoned later on in the game. So Lone Fire, very strong card in this deck. I don't run the Predator Plant, Scorpio and stuff engine yet, but I've not tried those out, but definitely try those out because you can search out the fusion targets, the fusion spells. 1 Global for the Natural Beast play, and also it's another link material because it can just resurrect itself from the graveyard. Of course, we play Dandelion. This is at 1 in the TCG, so a bit more difficult to come through with this deck with this card because you need 2 Earth monsters for that. Jeff Jones copy, if you haven't seen that, check it out. It's the one with Melee of the Trees, but 1's good because this is actually one of the cards responsible for making Firewall Dragons easily in this deck. 1 of each. And the last target's for Lone Fire is 2 Angel Trumpeters. You don't have to run this one. I just run it because it's an Earth and it's the biggest attack one, and it's a vanilla monster and it's a plant. So that's one of the best targets. And it's also level 4 for you can make a Digressor Arrow, so you can recycle stuff. Play 2 because of Painful Decision, because I sometimes want to search it. 2 Garnets because Painful Decision, and I don't like drawing a Garnet and having a Dead Brilliant Fusion as well. So, and Vanillas are actually pretty good in this deck, surprisingly, because of Link Spider. Let's go to the spells. A triple instant fusion. Northern's still not banned for some reason, so we're just going to abuse that as much as we could. OCG dropped this card because Northern's banned. Triple brilliant fusion, of course. Seraphina is probably one of the biggest culprit in terms of being able to summon Firewall Dragon turn 1 quite easily with this deck. So triple brilliant fusion, quite important. 2 unexpected die just to start off with a vanilla monster in the field, so you can go into Link Spider. So if you got unexpected die, brilliant fusion for example, combos quite well with each other. 2 Painful Decision. This is nice if you open it with Cyverse Gadget because you can dump the Bitron, and that lets you bring it back from the graveyard, and also giving you a card from hand, Bitron, which lets you probably special summon it later on in the turn because of Firewall Dragon's effect. So nice and handy Painful Decision. Cards that just recently went to 1 against the ban list: Brain Control, Errata Bludgeon of course, and Regaki. I was running Mind Control, but I want to try Brain Control, but I think Mind Control is probably better in the end because you can take control of an Xyz monster or a Synchro monster. But just try it out. Regaki to clear boards just because it's at 1 in TCG. And Soul Charge because this card's broken in this deck because you can just do so many combos, especially during Fire Soul Charge. It's pretty dumb. Soul Charge, I'm surprised Soul Charge didn't get banned in the Fusion ban list actually. And the last 2 spells is just 2 Twin Twisters, just to hate back row. Imperial Order is a funny card right now, so I just want to out that, even if there's no more Vanity Center in this, Imperial Order is quite annoying. Now if you're interested in grabbing the proxies as well, there is a link down in the description below, so check that out, just download it, it's a PDF file, so yeah, it shouldn't be too hard to print it out. On to the next deck, we've got 3 Link Spiders. Whenever I see a vanilla monster in this deck, it's a Link Spider, so it's easy to make, just 1 normal monster, so any of your vanilla monsters are Link Spiders. 3 of this is a combo starter. It points down to your main monster zone to make it a Link zone or an extract monster zone, and you will burn through 3 of these because you do token plays with Gofu and Dandelion, so you need to convert it into Earth or Cyverse monsters. Recycle 1 or 2 with Emerald every time you go through multiples of these, so you can carry on your plays later on in the duel. The 2 Cyverse Honeybot, you need 2 Cyverse materials for this, and it's fantastic as it's got a protection effect onto cards links to it. And you need 2 Cyverse for this, so in particular this is the card that you will go into if you have Cyverse on the field, like Draconet, Cyverse Gadget, and Bitron and stuff like that. And it's also a link 2, so you only need 2 materials for it. So 2 of that. I was running 3 before, but I made it more plant reliant, the deck, so I dropped it to 2 because you go into other stuff now. 1 Mrs. Radiant, important card in this deck because you can easily summon it. I love Earth monsters, and it's got 2 link zones already if you make it. Only 2 materials as well, so it's pretty generous. Now, the bait for this deck at the moment is keeping Decode Talker in. Guy Saber, definitely play at least 1, but I think I'm going to drop Decode Talker over 2nd Guy Saber for this deck. But for now, I am going to be trying out the Decode Talker because it is the protagonist's card. It is, what's his name, the Brain's main character's Junk Warrior, basically. It's the same stats, I guess. So, Decode Talker and Gaia Saber, two link free monsters that are quite important for some of the combos. The reason why I prefer Gaia Saber is because it's got better link arrows left, right and down compared to Decode Talker when you're doing the combos, so it works better with Firewall Dragon combos. And Decode Talker needs effect monsters, while this needs only 3 monsters. It doesn't care what it is, so you can just use tokens straight away. And the last link monster is of course triple Firewall Dragon. Debated whether running 2, but I do love seeing 3 of these on the field, so if you really want to play 3 of these, but 2 is probably good enough. However, 3 if you really want to go nuts and do the extra link combo where you see it's one of the new rulings where we have like 2 link spiders. So let's say that's your extra deck monster zone, and you got the link all the way there onto the opponents. So you basically domain them. So with 3 Firewall Dragons you can easily do that. That's why you play 3 Firewall Dragons. Fantastic card. You can just bounce cards from the grave or field, but keep in mind it's only 1 summon space up in the field. And the Broken effect is a special summon from hand, so if you keep on having monsters from your hand, you can just keep on summoning from your hand because it's not hard once per turn, and it's easily triggered by leaving the monster next to link to it if it leaves the field. Now the fusion targets are Seraphonite and Norden. 1 Seraphonite because you can sometimes recycle with Emerald. I do play 2 Garnets so you can recycle it. Emerald, 1 of the important rank 4, so recycle your link monsters as well as your fusions like Norden and Seraphonite. And a Turia Beast to lock out your opponent. It combos quite well with Honeybot because it can't be destroyed by battle if it's next to it. It can't be targeted either, and just negates all the spells. So it's one of the few monsters I usually want to summon in defense position because all of your link monsters has to go in attack position. So yeah, that's about it for this profile. If you want to download the PDF, it's down in the description below, as I mentioned earlier. So you probably want to print 3 of those because it only comes with 1 of each copies of cards, and you play 3 offs of a lot of cards, so it shouldn't be too hard for you guys to print it out. So yeah, go ahead and try it on your locals, Proxy or Link plays. Introduce the link summoning mechanics to new players, I guess, so they get used to it. So yeah, that is it for this. There's no download link for this on Yugioh Pro because you can't actually do it yet in Yugioh Pro, so yeah. That's the deck profile for Cyverse links. It's Jamie. Bye bye. Thanks for watching.